When I was younger, I would climb high into the trees, my sight distant, traveling in all directions with the wind. I journeyed ever higher to escape the pain held within. I had this idea of a far-off place, of a family waiting, a united people looking for me, greeting each other with a warm embrace. His brother John, a kiss on the cheek too. Higher I climbed, if only I could see. Further I stared from the solitude of those trees. There was a point when you become one with the rustling leaves, the gentle caressing breeze, the melodic birds who have a wisdom to impart. That sun's warmth that reaches deep into your heart. There is a harmony to knowing who you are, a strength to finding your place amidst the noise of the world. There is a peace you feel with the wind upon your face. When you are high up there upon the giants of the land, it is easier to see the steps another takes. It is easier to understand. The journey home does not always bring a cease to the scars left upon your soul, but the yearning seed persists, and in the pressures of the earth and through adversity, each of us grow. I see your grandfathers and my grandmothers. It's our unbroken lines, veins of our blood stretching backward and forward at the time. They are our roots so that we may grow high, and we are their purpose as they reach their hands high into the sky, calling upon the Creator to hear their plea, and calling upon the wind to you, 7 generations, don't forget about me. I feel like I came home. And I want to welcome you into my heart as you have welcomed me into yours. When I first met them, I was just on an errand for our tribal peoples to go and tell those that had the Nephite record, hey, that thing might be true. Who would have thought that along that journey I would have to dodge so many arrows? I would have to persist in a way that I had never, ever imagined, all while having a serious, very severe medical condition, to the point that I almost quit because of the pain as they were upon my nerves and my nerve roots. In December of this last year, I had a meeting. They said, the president of the Church of Jesus Christ is coming to see you. And I said, well, I don't want to see him. No, not the Utah guy. You have to understand that I dodged a lot of arrows at that point. And so we met. He could have been a pharmacist for all I knew, with how gentle and calm and kind and nice he was. But in the midst of my struggles to kind of move around and function, which I'm asked a lot, sailing my ship today on the winds of a decade and a half as a U.S. Marine, but very much inside broken. Not just physically, but spiritually. That they said, we want to anoint you. Because they wanted to honor what had been placed upon them by hands that were sacred, by men who also were honored, by men that passed these things on back to a man named Joseph Smith Jr. Joseph Smith Jr.'s grandfather, Azel Smith, is a grandfather of mine too. And I often wonder when he saw that stone rolling down the hill and knew my grandson is a part of that. He must have known that me as his grandson was as well. And my path led me to Brother Gailey and Brother Wayne and Brother John. They're so dear to me. It wasn't one of those things where somebody prays on you and you're thinking, thank you for the prayer. It was an immediate commandment, an immediate reaction, a feeling as if I stood tall. And I wanted to jump up, and I did, because I couldn't believe how I felt. It was an instantaneous removal of pain, a pain that's associated to tumors on nerve roots that just does not go away. And it went away immediately. And if you think I'm hyper now, that next 36 hours, I might have worked like 3 months worth of work. And that was a sign and a token to me when I wasn't seeking or asking for signs. I was getting ready to cancel the trip to Mexico, where they wanted me to welcome me home. And they wanted me to bring the Anishinaabe, because my family actually were Mayan that were trapped with the Anishinaabe running the North Trade Route. A month later, I was invited to a conference in Arizona, and again, I almost didn't go. Not because I was in pain, but because the arrows intensified that were being fired against me. Not asking for money, not asking for positions. Creator knows how often I've tried to quit doing what I'm doing now. It's just hard when all you're asking for are these. And those that carry these as sacred and special, that made them a peculiar people in the sight of the Creator, I never knew it was so difficult to get them to part with them, to return to my people. And I went to a conference in Arizona. Am I okay on that? I went to a conference in Arizona. I had a lady come to me yesterday and she said, "You got to talk slower." So listen, I am trying to talk slower. She's here, it's your fault. I went up and stood on the stage, and I am not somebody who's ever at a loss for words. I'll tell you what, the moment I can start talking again, it was hard to get me to shut up. But I stood on the stage, and as I looked out, half the room were our people. When I say our people, they were those that are spoken about in this book. And I ask you to remember that not all tribal peoples that you meet are Lamanites. Those are the descendants of a man named Laman. What about the children of Samuel? They're there too. What about the children of Joseph, the youngest son of Lehi? From that house I come from, as I speak to you. Do we understand how important it is to assist a family that is trying to reunite itself? And your job and responsibility and the covenant and obligation you took to assist that family in raising itself. As one brother's descendants goes to another brother's descendants and says it's time to come home. But something was strange when I stood on the stage. I couldn't talk. I was so overwhelmed by the Spirit, a feeling of a presence, that my tongue was held for like a good 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, could have been longer. And I looked back and I realized I got these apostles sitting behind me. And I got all these people acting with one heart before me. And it was at that moment I knew that I had to become baptized with you. I had to show you that I would be immersed and risen to stand with you. And again, then the arrows came. But that's how the devil works. If the adversity is not there, you're not growing. Remember, it's the yearning seed that persists in the pressures of the earth and in that adversity that helps you grow. It was my second sign. I was taken out to a desert. I thought, oh, geez, they're going to bury me in a ditch. I mean, what's going on right now? Oh, trust me, brother. Trust me, you're going to be fine. They took me in a car like an hour out in the desert. Who paid these guys off? I was going through my Marine Corps martial arts program training. I'm going to be breaking wrists and kicking kneecaps. Boy, they turned the corner and there was the biggest blue lake I'd ever seen. It was literally as if I had walked into paradise, and they led me down there, and there were at least no less than 130 people that were standing there because they just wanted to see it happen, because they knew how hard it was to persist in saying that this is true. Even amidst those proclaiming to the world that it is so. The measure of a champion is the ability to stand ready when a moment of opportunity comes. They're few and far between, and many failed. But you did not. And I was baptized, and when I came out of that water, I thought I had been baptized before, and I say this out of deep respect for those that are here that belong to another branch, that are here out of love and unity. I am a smith, and I am a tailor, and I am a millet. My grandfathers built the Kirtland Temple. My grandmother, Martha Smith, helped Hiram hide the gold plates. My grandfather, John Taylor, really a lot of people to pray for. I'll just say that much about him. But there wasn't just that built my testimony. I spend a lot of my time sacrificing. And people don't know unless they spend some time with me, and they understand every month I cross the ocean to go see 2 little boys. They live in Germany. I'm a failed man. I can say that really easy now because I was baptized. But I really was. There was a period in my life I was a Marine. And if I met myself then, I would point myself in the face and say, you're a horrible human being. I sacrifice a lot now. And this last trip when I was home, I had something amazing happen, because in Germany they're not a religious society. There's a deep separation between church and state. And my sons only know what I teach them. And this is harder as they get older, 7 and 9, and trying to communicate on the 2 and 4 days a month you receive. But I show up. I've done that for 7 years. I work to fly. And I had a dream that wasn't a dream, it was like a vision. And I was watching a bunch of tribal women. I didn't see any tribal men. I saw just a ton of tribal women. And they were crying really heavily. And I saw a man with shoulder-length hair standing. And as he turned, I recognized him as the Savior, the peacemaker, who has many names. I'm grateful that we can all take our hundreds of names and associate them to one title. We'll say that's Jesus Christ. But I knew it in that moment, and I wanted to run to him, and I couldn't because I was observing. And as he turned further still, I saw he was holding a hand with somebody that seemed like a child. But it wasn't. It was Brother David, Brother Joel. And Brother Joel was assisting him in wiping the tears from his grandmother's eyes. I didn't think it was Brother Joel.
I thought it was the Church of Jesus Christ. And he was symbolic of that. And I knew that even then. And I just woke up immediately. But when I woke up, they were still in my room. The dream was still before my eyes as it started to fade, and I jumped with a loud yelp like a 13-year-old with a spider on the foot, because I couldn't believe somebody was in my room, let alone who I just saw in my dream, as they faded away and dissipated, as if it was never there. My boys jumped up. What's going on? I had scared my 9-year-old. He almost fell out of the bed. He was so shocked. And I tried to calm him back down because I never want my sons to see me with heightened emotion. I only want them to feel kindness and love. Later on that day, their mother, this is a true story, and it's the most remarkable thing to me that's been on my mind. It's why I got this seed with me. My son's mother came over to have me sign a piece of paper because he qualified for grade 5. In Germany, this is a big deal because if you don't qualify, guess what? You're going to be a repeat offender in the grade. They really could care less about what you think about it. And the first thing he did is he ran up to his mother and in front of me and said, "Mama, I saw 2 men in my room this morning." And his mom looked at me like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I'll talk to you about it later." And he proceeded to tell her about how he saw Jesus and another man that he doesn't know. And then the rest of the day, he sat with me as I was trying to work, wanting me to show him we got to find these men because he saw them there and disappeared. And I showed him Brother Joel. And he said, "I'm going to go to America and meet him." He said, "You got to wait till you're 13. So Brother Joel, you're going to have to come see him before he's 13. He wanted to see Jesus. I told him. So I said, "You can say the prayer at dinner." But that happened. And I didn't just share that with them, I shared it with another group of people that had inspired them so much. They're here today. And I have to honor them because I love them for what they did for us as well. Something remarkable happened. Tribal groups from the North, Central, and South America that have more differences than any of you have with any other nation in the world. If you think the United States and Russia have problems, come hang out with the Maya and the Aztecs. They got real problems. Or the Calibri and the Condor peoples of the Amazon who can't decide which tree's whose. And yet in the very same week, I received a letter from the Church of Jesus Christ. It's a proclamation. I won't read the whole thing. But one line stood out. "We proclaim a direct succession of the priesthood authority of Jesus Christ given to Joseph Smith Jr. and Oliver Cowtree by the angel to administer the priesthood ordinances in the name of the Messiah." Knowing that that came from Joseph Smith Jr. to Sidney Rigdon. It's like his best friend, his first counselor, his vice presidential candidate, and then to William Bickerton. I saw his picture on the wall. I would hope that Joseph and Sidney make it on that wall too. At the same time, another group that was fractured when Joseph died was a relation of mine. They called themselves the Joint Conference of Restoration Branches. I reminded them that their Jesus Christ restoration branches. And they gave me a piece of paper that said it's resolved that the authority of the priesthood is active and authoritative in the Church of Jesus Christ, Pennsylvania, USA. Knowing that their priesthood comes from Joseph Smith to William Smith to Joseph Smith III. You're the same family. But one group has kept it together, and the other group has been struggling with love. But I want to honor their fathers who put their hands on their heads out of love, as their fathers had done to them, even back until my relation, Joseph Smith, and even today, out of love for you and respect for the authority of the priesthood that is in this house. Knowing that the Indians, as I am the fire keeper of the Quetzal Council of the Maya, and my chief grandmother on that council is the head of all Indians in North America, in South America, in Central America, that no decisions are made without my signature. And yet their elders came to sit with you. And I'd like them to stand. We have disciples of Jesus Christ. He called apostles and he called disciples. And these brothers, Randy Vick and Brother Caldwell and Brother Metzger, if you could face everybody, put their shoulder to the wheel for their congregations to know that the authority of the priesthood is active and authoritative in the Church of Jesus Christ right here. Just as our elders in my family will attest that we honor their fathers and we call them back to a single body of Christ, and we remind them that the Eagle, Condor, and Quetzal and Colibri councils will be coming into the Church of Jesus Christ. And we are asking for reconciliation and reunion, and for the decisions of the things that we may not agree on, to set them aside and find what we do agree on. And for our people, it starts right here. Now, I know I like to take liberties and apologize afterwards. I'm a habitual line stepper, so I'm going to just sing a song and sit down. I brought a seed. This seed is a covenant from my people. This seed is being given as a covenant of union with the Church of Jesus Christ, that together we will bear fruits. In 5 years, this seed will produce enough fruits to cover this table and more. We are asking for you to partner with us for these. And we promise you that as this seed bears fruit in 5 years' time, that this will bear more fruit than you have ever heard of in your lifetime. So I will sing our sacred song, I fly over the waters, and I am looking over creation. I go with the turtle, searching for spirit men and women. I fly over the waters, I'm searching all of creation. I travel with the great Spirit, he is my friend. Healing is spirit people. And if this is not healing, manifest before your eyes. What more are you asking for? O Gidi Papa Mashan, Papa Wadan Damanaki, Mekina Kungu Ichiwa Undone Wukanshin. Hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, ho. O Gidi Papa Mashan, Papa Wabandamanaki, Manadungu Ichiwa Nanandawiya Kanshinhabe, Manatu Ape, Manatu Ape, Manatu Ape, Peshikewe Yanshinabe. Hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, oh. Hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey ya, oh. So President Daly, Brother Joel, please accept this seed. I would ask your body of Christ to plant this in a sacred place, to nurture it as we bring you into our communities, not to knock doors, but to be received as friends and brothers. And when you hand your gift, it will be taken with love, because we are a sacred tree together. And in 5 years' time, which is the first year that it will bear fruit, we will have a massive amount of fruit showing up at a conference like this, that this building will not be big enough to hold.